Hello everyone, this video is going to cover how to use breakout rooms or create breakout rooms in a Zoom meeting, but then also cover how to pre-assign students or participants to breakout rooms ahead of your meeting so that you can either just open the rooms once you're in, or you can manually move people from room to room with the rooms already created. So I have a Zoom meeting here that I've started, and granted I'm by myself so I won't necessarily see any names, but I can still click on this breakout rooms option and notice that I have either the option to assign automatically, assign manually, or let participants choose the room. So I'm going to pretend that I would like to create 5 breakout rooms. I could either type the information in there or use the up and down arrows, and I'm going to click assign automatically. If I wanted to manually move people, put them in their specific groups, I would click this option. We do not recommend using the let participants choose room, only because if they don't have an updated version of Zoom, they're not going to be able to do what you'd like them to do. So the best ones to use are either assign automatically or assign manually. Note that when you click assign automatically, Zoom gives you this little note down here telling you how many people will be placed in each room. So if I had 20 people, for example, with 5 breakout rooms, I should be presented that 4 people will be in each room. So I'll go ahead and say assign automatically and click create. Note this does not actually open the rooms yet. Zoom gives you one more opportunity to see who has been assigned to which room. So if you'd like to move people, you'll be able to see their name and a little icon that says move or reassign, and you can move them to a different room. You can rename the rooms. So for example, if I wanted this to be courtroom 1, I could call this room courtroom 1. If I wanted to call this courtroom 2, and maybe I'll call this the judge's room. So you can definitely do that there. If you were doing this manually, this will be what it looks like, and you'd have to click this assign button to see a list of the participants and then select them from there. So once everything is ready, you can go ahead and click open all rooms, and that will send everyone into their breakout rooms. This setting or these settings will stay for the duration of your meeting. So if I go ahead and click open all rooms, if I had folks, they would go ahead and be sent to each of their rooms, and once we were done, I could close all rooms. So if I go ahead and just close out of that, let's pretend I'm doing my thing in my meeting and I wanted to open the breakout rooms again. It will show me the same settings that I had before. If I want to mix everyone up, I would need to go ahead and click this recreate and go through the process again. So maybe this time I only want 3 breakout rooms. Go ahead and assign automatically, recreate. Notice it gives me this window one last time before I go ahead and open all rooms. So let me go ahead and I'll end my meeting here, and let's take a look at us pre-assigning or pre-creating the breakout rooms before you start your Zoom meeting. So I'm going to open a browser. I already have it set to Zoom, and I'm going to go ahead and log in. So if you're creating a meeting from scratch, you're just going to go ahead and click on schedule a meeting, enter your information, and then you'll scroll down here to these settings and you'll click on breakout room pre-assign. You'll either create your rooms or import from a CSV. One quick note about importing from a CSV, I would go ahead and click that option, and there's a note up here to download the template. Definitely download the template, as that will make things easier for you, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a second here. So let me go ahead and cancel, and I'm actually going to use a meeting that I have already scheduled. Notice it's a recurring meeting, so this will be the closest to a class session, for example. One thing to note is that if you'd like to pre-assign breakout rooms, you have to click on edit and edit all occurrences. If you select only one, the breakout room pre-assign is going to be grayed out. So even though you may want to use these particular settings for one date of your class session, you're going to have to click edit all occurrences. Of course, you could edit the settings before each class session if you'd like to mix things up. So for this, let's go ahead and click edit all occurrences. We're going to go scroll down here, and I'm going to do breakout room pre-assign. So this is going to be the manual way, or both ways are actually manual, but this is going to allow me to do whatever I need to do on the screen itself. So I can go ahead and create rooms, 1, 2, 3, 4, let's say. I can rename the room. So this one will be courtroom 1. I'll click here and call this courtroom 2. I'll call this courtroom 3. And I'll call this one the break room. All right. So from here, I can just start typing email addresses or folks' names if they're in the system. So let me go ahead. I'm going to find Arnold, my colleague. There he is. In there twice, actually, it looks like. I'm going to find Kurt. I'm going to type his email address in, hit enter. And so you can just add folks this way. One thing to note, you can add non-LLS email addresses to this. So I'll do a fake Gmail account here, for example. The trick, though, is you need to know the email address of the person who will be joining your session. If they sign in with any other email address, they will not be assigned to their breakout room automatically. You'll have to manually move them. So if you're doing something like this for an event, just be sure that whatever email address you enter is the one that they will use the day of your meeting to join your Zoom session. So once I have everything saved, I can just go ahead and click on save, and I'll get this little note here that I have 4 breakout rooms. They're pre-assigned, and I can click on this edit button in order to make any changes. So let me just go ahead and save this, and let me start my meeting. So I'll go ahead and click on start meeting, open Zoom. It's loading. Here it is. So even though I am by myself and I am recording, I can now click on breakout rooms and notice that the items that we had set up before are already here. So of course I'm not seeing anyone in my session since my colleagues are not joining me for this video, but this is what it'll look like, and I will see their names listed in their rooms if they had joined, and I can go ahead and open all rooms. Even though I pre-assigned breakout rooms, I can still recreate them. I can either recover to the pre-assigned, which is pretty nice, or I can recreate all rooms. Maybe I just want to do some random stuff. I can just assign automatically and recreate from there. So let me end this session right here for a second, and let's go back to Zoom and talk about the CSV, because this is very important. So let me go ahead and edit all occurrences again. And I'm going to uncheck my breakout rooms to clear it here really quick. And let me edit one more time to get back to my breakout room pre-assign. So let's do this import from CSV instead. So I already had my CSV downloaded and I started filling it out. So this is what it's going to look like. It's going to start by saying like room 1, room 1, room 2, room 2. It's just a sample that Zoom gives you. So on this column, this will be the name of the breakout room. So you go ahead and enter that there, and notice that you're going to repeat the name of the room depending on who you want to be in that room. So my colleagues, Arnold and Kurt, I've again put in courtroom 1. My colleagues, Gabe and Jeff, I've put in courtroom 2, and then I've put our department and Dean Craig into courtroom 3. One thing to note about this is you need to save it as a CSV file in order to upload it successfully to Zoom. So I'm going to go to File, I'm going to go to Save As, and I'll find a spot on my computer. So sure, I'll save it back into Downloads. Just make sure that your file format is CSV. Excel likes to try to be helpful. It's going to try to save it as an Excel workbook. Do not let it. Make sure that it's set to CSV. Click on Save. It's going to warn you, are you sure? Or, this already exists. So yeah, I'll go ahead and replace it since I'm saving it to the same place. And you'll get this message. That's fine. Ignore it. As long as you saved it as a CSV, you are good to go. So going back to my breakout rooms, I can import from CSV. I'm going to browse my computer here. There's my download file that I had edited. I'll go ahead and open, and notice it's going to give me a sample of like, here were the folks that you entered. If that's correct, I'll go ahead and click on save, and then I'll save my meeting. That particular process is really helpful if you have lots of students in your class that you'd like to assign instead of having to sit and type each one in manually through the screen. So now if I start this meeting again, let's go ahead and open it. If I click on breakout rooms, notice that now it's the different courtrooms that we had already set. And if my colleagues were actually in here with me, then I would see their names here and I can open all rooms. So I'll go ahead and do that just as a sample. I can close the rooms, and then again, I can recreate to the pre-assigned or recreate all rooms. Hopefully this has been helpful. If you have any questions, please do contact us at instructional.technology@lls.edu and we will help you out. Have a good day.